Ahoy there, minnow.
It's a Conspiracy is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown and community supported. For other fun programming, please check out the albertapodcastnetwork.com, where you can find shows like Putting It Together. On this episode, we'd like to tell you about what's new with our friends at StoryHive. Since 2013, TELUS StoryHive has funded and supported emerging filmmakers with mentorship and guidance from the National Screen Institute, bringing hundreds of films to life from creators across Western Canada. StoryHive is committed to supporting underrepresented creatives and stories, which is why we want you to jump on this opportunity. This time, they're marrying sound and video in their inaugural podcast edition, dropping on November 4th. They're looking for original, non-fiction podcast concept pitches from BC and Alberta residents. Successful pitches will receive $10,000 and customized mentorship to produce the project. Applications are open until December 2nd. Check the eligibility requirements and apply now on storyhive.com. That's storyhive.com.
It's a conspiracy!
There we go. Now we're recording.
Speaking of recording, I remember one talent show in school. I played hot cross buns with 2 recorders in my nose.
In your nose? What?
Yeah.
You'll do that.
Yeah, got detention for it.
You didn't just rip that off of The Simpsons or something.
Dude.
I never really watched The Simpsons, but I legit did it.
Why would you be sent to detention over that? Like, if you did it with somebody else's recorder.
No, because I said I was doing something else and didn't
It's
do
a
something
talent show, and that is clearly a talent.
else. Right?
Absolutely. I
Hey,
think I'm
you
going
got
to
it.
steal that, man.
Standing O, man. Standing O.
Absolutely.
Now, my biggest question is, could you reproduce that for the podcast?
Oh,
100%. I need some recorders that nobody wants to use again. Yeah.
I can get you some recorders for sure. We're not allowed to play them, so you can just have them.
Dope.
And if you could do 3, I'm not. You don't have to tell me where the third one goes, but you've got options.
Oh,
Anyway, we digress.
Okay. What a weird way to start this, but that's, yeah. Okay, so episode 6, Brothers and Sisters, guest starring Yaphet Kotto. Welcome back, everyone, to It's a Conspiracy. This is the podcast where we lay out the beliefs behind selected conspiracy theories, alternative accounts, legends, myths, and more. I'm your host, Andrew, and I do not claim to be an expert on anything we're going to discuss today, and will probably be wrong about everything as usual, because that's the way the cruel mistress of fate plays her cards. If you'd like to see where we dug up whatever icicles we're going to admire today, then please check out the resources in the episode description. Charlie goes spelunking for those on the 1st and 3rd Wednesday of every month. The 2nd and 4th Wednesdays are his Asian cooking classes, and he does origami lingerie on the first Sunday of the month right after church.
Oh, I made the cutest onesie the other day.
Do you do Stir Fridays?
Stir Fridays.
Stir Fridays. Oh, wow. Yeah,
love
you
Stir
should
Fridays.
move your cooking classes to Stir Fridays. Lastly, we're a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Yay.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
You can check us out online at our website, itsaconspiracypodcast.com. Our Twitter at Is It a Conspiracy? That's run by the social media influencer, the Irish Madman. The Facebook group, the Instagram, It's a Conspiracy Podcast. That's run by Gorgeous Greg, who's extra gorgeous with a mustache on, a thick French bohemian mustache. And our Patreon page, patreon.com/It's
a conspiracy.
Joining the online distance communication time today is Charming Charlie and Mustachio Greg. These two devilishly handsome wobble chums will chime in as they see fit. Now, Charlie, with a 10-4 or a negatory, can you tell me if you've heard of either of these theories?
Did you just call us wobble chums?
Wobble chums. Yeah, you guys are wobble chums. I read that in the men's room that one time at the... So, Charlie, have you heard of these theories here? So, number 1, 10 fun facts about North Korea.
10-4?
Number 2, Greg has a fun theory. I'm not sure what it is.
I can't name it because it might give it away.
Oh, a mystery. Okay. Charlie, have you heard of a mystery before?
I have heard of a mystery before.
Oh, okay. And our last one here is, this is a bit of a confusing title. Why is Pluto a planet but it isn't. Spoiler, it kind of still is.
And 4.
Okay, all right. It does feel strange to read it that way.
I think you name things like this so that the title of the episode is just off the hook long.
Off the hook long.
Off the hook long. So it's like one subject. This episode, we have this subject, and something that's so incredibly long that it's going to go on forever and people will never reach the end of the
Are
title.
you saying it's just not catchy enough?
So 10 fun facts. This is subject number 1, 10 fun facts. And I think there's more than 10 here about North Korea.
Oh, yeah.
North Korea, everybody has either heard something about this mysterious place or seen the historical documentary Team America World Police. So what's the real deal? Are they so lonely? Are they so happy? Are they kind of sus? Hey?
And where are the unicorns?
That's in here. They are what are oft called a hermit kingdom. Don't let anything or anyone in. They don't really let anything or anyone out for the most part. And they seem to have a taste for musicals, and they do love a good political tantrum. Fun stuff. Okay, number 1.
Hana?
North Koreans are, on average, about 2 inches shorter than South Koreans since the end of the Korean War. It's almost like all of the tall people haven't had a chance to make babies with the shorter but still valuable people.
Wait, that's a fact? That's an actual
That's a fact. Yeah, statistically, since the end of the Korean War, North Koreans have been getting shorter, and they are now, on average, 2 inches shorter than their South Korean neighbors. They're close together, yeah. Number 2, North Koreans invented their own time zone. They have something called Pyongyang time, which is named after the North Korean capital. They run 30 minutes behind their neighbors, South Korea and Japan. This system was adopted in 2015 to celebrate the 70th anniversary of their liberation from Japan, and was in fact the system used prior to Japanese rule. So they're back on. They're kind of like Newfoundland.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, is New Brunswick on Newfoundland time?
No, they're on Eastern Standard.
They're on Eastern Standard. I have never understood that whole thing. Like, we're a half hour ahead or whatever it is. It's so confusing.
I think it's because they're farther north.
So they get just a little bit, like a half hour.
Or, like if the world ends, they feel special. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It ended at 12:30. Sucker.
And Charlie, can you able me to be sharing?
I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So number 3,
Okay.
North Koreans all of them have the same haircut. So Kim Jong-Un ordered all male citizens to have his same sweet cut. The official rules are no longer than 2 centimeters. Women, your hair is kept at, quote, bob length. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
A bob?
Like a bob. You have to have a bob.
Yeah.
Yep, a bob cut. The hairstyle is called the Ambitious. So that's the name of the haircut. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to show you guys what this looks like here.
You said
I think that's what I'm going to call my mustache.
the ambitious.
This is the Ambitious. These are my friend. Can you see my screen? Okay, so this is the picture here. You can see Kim Jong-Un and some people having a real great time right behind him there, and they've all got basically the same haircut.
It looks like a lot of fun over there, doesn't it?
It looks like they're having a great time. Like someone's like,
They just finished a really good joke.
totally. And then I ate the bowl. Yeah. So just a great time there. Now, what this reminds me of is in the 90s, there was sort of this like weird trend where like you shave the sides, you'd have a bowl cut. Okay, I wrote it here. It looks like what the cool kids in Red Deer had in the 90s. Kind of a douchebag side shaved bowl cut that makes curtains for your dumb face like your Nick Carter. So if we take a look, there's Nick Carter there.
That sounds like the opinion of someone who wasn't allowed to have a bowl cut.
I was going to say, yeah. That's some deep-rooted stuff right there.
The Ambitious bowl cut, it should be called. This is beyond bowl cut. But if you look at this here, like he's got, maybe that's longer than 2 centimeters, but he's got the split down the middle, coming down on the sides, making the curtain, and side shaved. Look at that.
Is it because you couldn't frost your tips?
Oh, good. Okay, that's a call forward. I wasn't sure. I was going to have to explain frosted tips for one of the other theories Yeah.
Exciting.
We'll come back. Okay. All right. Enough about tips.
네.
North Koreans are. It costs $8,000 US to defect from North Korea per person.
Whoa.
It actually costs that much to leave the country, and the most common destination is China. The thought is that anyone who leaves is basically defecting. So they're like, go ahead and have a vacation, but you can't ever come back.
Wow.
And, yeah, I know, right? The real sad thing about this is that the average income for North Koreans is between $1,000 and $2,000. And that's annual. So $1,000 to $2,000 per year.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're making that, which that's basically like jazz musician money.
That's good.
Thank you. That's North Koreans are
Awesome.
Kim Jong-Il, the father of Kim Jong-un, spent approximately 700,000 British pounds, which is well over $1 million of the Canadian dollars, on Hennessy cognac each year.
Whoa.
So 700,000 pounds.
Damn.
That's a lot. Pounds sterling.
And yet regular people only make $1,000 to $2,000
A year. Yes.
A year.
Yeah. And he spent that much on cognac. North Koreans are,
여섯.
as a country, worth less than Bill Gates. Yikes. So BG has about 78.2 of the billions, and North Korea has about 17 of the billions coming in per year.
Probably because they don't have too many windows.
Zing. North Koreans are
일곱.
not entirely sure of their population, but it is a lot of people. So Pyongyang has an estimated 2.86 million people. In comparison, Canada's biggest city, with coincidentally the worst hockey team, Toronto, has about 2.6 millions of the people. So this would make Pyongyang the biggest city in Canada if it was in Canada, which it isn't. Okay?
But could be, if it was.
It could be.
But if it
and
was.
if they were, they would have a better hockey team than Toronto, right? Yeah, I know. That's
Not opinion time, Andrew.
North Koreans are
여덟.
surprisingly good at the football. They were in the 2010 World Cup and lost to Brazil 2-1. So they did lose to Brazil, which is like, that's still really good. So they know how to football.
Which football?
The
one with the ball in the foot.
yeah, like the actual football, not like
Football
the
or football?
football. Foot. So I don't want to use
with the
the S
umlaut.
word, but football. So like soccer. There, Charlie, you maybe say it. Fine, soccer. Go.
Well, there goes all of our...
Yeah, there goes the three people in the United Kingdom that were like, you know what, I'll give these guys a bloody go. Never mind, turning off.
Yeah.
Number 9, North Koreans are,
아홉.
they say they have a 100% literacy rate, and that is a rate that they refuse to allow to be tested, meaning that every single citizen over the age of 15 can read and write fluently. So they claim this, but they won't let anyone actually test that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Why would you question that, Andrew? Obviously.
I just,
They wouldn't just make it up and say it if it wasn't true.
Yeah.
they are nothing if not honest. North Koreans are,
Yay.
the government was labeled as the most corrupt in the world, tied with Somalia in 2015. Hoo boy. The hoo boy. The hoo boy scale works from 0, which is very corrupt, to 100, which is very clean. North Korea and Somalia both scored an 8. So that's as close to 0 as you get.
8's across the board.
Number 11, North Koreans are...
열하나.
Kim Jong-il, father of current leader Kim Jong-un, wrote 6 operas and staged hundreds of musicals for the consensual enjoyment of all. And these are on like national television. He started them, he wrote them, he sang in them. And like Kim Jong-il, the guy who caused a lot of fury and like outrage, was a big musical man.
Well, that's what you get when your haircut's called the ambitious.
Well, like, isn't everything you watch on TV consensual if you watch it?
I think so.
You
Yeah,
could
I guess
not
that's a
watch
very
it.
nice way to put it. Yeah. I think you
It's
have to
like,
watch it. Though.
Yeah, unless your eyes are being held open, like Clockwork Orange style.
Fair enough.
I think that there's like a controlled television programs that it's like, okay, it's 6 o'clock, you will watch or you will get the stick. Number 12, lastly, North Koreans are,
열둘.
they have unicorns. We have discussed this before, but it's fun to revisit an old theory. 2012 archaeologists digging outside of Pyongyang announced to the world that they discovered ancient burial grounds of actual prancing, rainbow-flavored, happy little unicorns. And one of the things I meant to mention in our previous episode about this was this term needs to be clarified, however, if we're following the strict guidelines laid out by My Little Pony. These are earth ponies, and they're not pegasi or unicorns. Okay, so you guys just clarifying on that.
Gotcha.
Charlie, who is your favorite My Little Pony?
Dumbledore?
Greg, who is your favorite My Little Pony?
Moonrock?
Moonrock. Wow. Okay.
Wait,
I would have
I don't
accepted
know.
Princess
I take it back.
Celestia, Rarity.
Yeah,
I
cool.
forgot. Atreyu.
Is Harmony a choice?
Harmony. Come on, man. There's Applejack, Rainbow Dash.
I said Moonrock. That's got to be like, that was
Moonrock is not a My Little Pony,
that was as close as I was getting.
nor is Harmony. Shame on you both.
Wait,
I guess both
my
of
answer,
those.
though.
Sorry, what was your answer, Charlie?
Atreyu.
Atreyu.
Atreyu!
Falcor.
Oh, Atreyu is the... Oh, dude, you're going to make me cry. That's the horse from Never... Oh.
No. The horse's name wasn't Atreyu.
It was.
No, Atreyu was the boy, not Sebastian, but his horse's name was
Horse was Artak.
Artax.
We gotta cut this whole
Artax.
joke. Damn it.
Yeah. So, no, you keep that shit.
God damn
No,
it.
let's just go ahead and leave it in. And I'll just cut out the part where I cry for like the
Oh,
next
yeah,
hour
dude.
and a half.
Always,
Thanks, Charlie.
forever. And
If anyone's not sure what Charlie's talking about, the movie Never Ending Story should be retitled to A Poor Horse Dies Slowly for 6 hours and Andrew cries. Like,
spoiler alert.
yeah, spoiler. Ugh. Okay. Well, on that sad note, Charlie, what are we drinking?
What are we drinking? We are drinking another can of Coke Zero, Coca-Cola Zero, 0 sugar, 0 calories, 100% taste.
Are you on your like Arctic base right now?
Yes.
Like you look like you're coming to us live from the.
Absolutely, I am. That's exactly. So what happens when shit gets cold? I just go straight to the Arctic.
Oh
Victor
man.
Freeze over here.
No, guys, I'm up here because I've been doing research, okay?
You okay? All right.
Yeah.
Research. Okay. I'm gonna hold this up to the camera so you guys can see. Can you see that? Okay.
Ooh.
yeah.
Anarchist.
Beautiful.
Anarchist.
Absolutely beautiful bottle.
Amber Ale.
Dark red and like the colors on this, and it has like kind of a Stranger Things sort of logo going on. This is the Anarchist Amber Ale from Cannery Brewing, and Cannery Brewing is in Penticton. So Penticton, British Columbia. Yeah, Penticton. That's a fun word to say, isn't it? So Penticton is normally known for its wine, and this is a very nice amber ale from Penticton. I think ale have another one.
There it is. I'm wondering if you're going to hit that one up. Greg, over to you.
Yeah, no, I'm not imbibing in alcohol today. I'm imbibing, or was imbibing, in a THC sparkling blood orange drink.
Ooh.
Yeah, for those
Really?
that are not into the alcohols but want to venture into other routes that are also safe and legal, by all means, I definitely recommend it.
I'm excited. I got to get me one of those. I want to try one.
Yeah, and it doesn't taste anything.
Sounds
it's called
amazing.
It's called Little Victory. It's done by a company called Hexo.
Yeah. So it's a THC infused drink. There's no alcohol in it.
There's no alcohol in it. And there's a very minimal dose of THC in it. It's like a quarter of what Canada's recommended dose is.
Wow.
You're going to get a little buzzy.
Little
Maybe.
buzz.
Depending on your, tolerance.
Everybody reacts differently, is what we're told. Yeah.
That's very, very cool. I've never tried I've tried like hemp beers before, but I've never tried like a cannabis infused drink before.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo, as they would say, but it's really tasty. And for those who are always worried about, I hate the taste, I hate the smell. It doesn't smell, it doesn't taste. It's rather tasty. So
Doesn't taste like your uncle's apartment.
yeah, it's not like Otto's jacket. Yeah.
Oh, right on, man. Well, that's going to take us to ad number 1.
This episode of It's a Conspiracy is brought to you by the Well Endowed Podcast by the Edmonton Community Foundation and is hosted by Andrew Paul and Elizabeth Bonnick. and is produced by Lisa Pruden. This podcast explores the impact of passionate people who are working to make Edmonton a strong, vibrant city to live in. The Edmonton Community Foundation helps people create endowment funds, and the podcast tells those stories of how those endowments intersect with the community. You can subscribe to the Well Endowed Podcast by checking out their website at thewellendowedpodcast.com. That's thewellendowedpodcast.com.
Okay, subject number 2. Greg has a fun theory that's a mystery.
A mystery.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait to hear this.
Okay, so hopefully I don't think you covered this one, but you did an episode it's been a couple years now, an Avengers episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like this theory has been proven wrong and is not true, but was a fairly popular fan theory. But I thought was really funny and thought maybe you guys would enjoy it just as much as me.
Do it.
Have you guys heard of the Thanus theory?
Thanos.
Yeah, I think we know what this is.
The Thanus theory is a half crack, half serious fan theory that originated in 2018. Sorry, I can't even get past that first little joke.
That's hard to listen to. I don't even want to think that word.
The Thanus theory is a half crack, half serious fan theory that originated in 2018. It speculates how in the movie Avengers Endgame 2019, Scott Lang, the alter ego of Antman, could defeat Thanos by shrinking to ant size and crawl through the Mad Titan's anus and expand again from the inside, killing the villain in the process.
Greg, this sounds like a real explosive theory.
Even Jim Starlin, the comic book writer who created Thanos, heard about it eventually. In an interview at San Diego Comic-Con, Starlin tells Inverse that he's well aware of Ant-Man theory, often referred to as Thanos. Just saying it makes me feel dirty. I was really surprised this is a quote, so maybe I should do a voice.
Yeah, you better.
Oh, here we go.
Nah, I don't know. I was really surprised when the head of the Hayden Planetarium in New York City got into it and started talking about it, Stalin says. He seemed unlikely. But what does the creator of Thanos think? Well, let's just say it's a good thing for Ant-Man that the actual movie didn't get this particular theory. I think Thanos has a much tougher anus than anyone ever thought. I'm sorry, there's just no way I could have said that sentence in a voice. It's just way too hard to get through. And I don't think Ant-Man would have done anything but get himself crushed into his helmet.
Oof.
I mean,
So...
you know what? Yeah, I'll save this. I'll save this for later.
Save for opinions.
For opinion time. I got
Put those opinions back in your pants.
Yeah.
So that's the theory, is that this movie could have ended much, much quicker.
That's a good theory. I like fan theories. I think, I was funny. I was looking at a few. I think we should do an episode on just on fan theories, because there are some that are so great, and that's amazing. And what's the hole in it? That's not how the movie went. Spoiler if anyone hasn't seen it. Yeah.
What's the hole in it? Come on, man, dude.
But it's just as plausible as a speculation as anything else, right? Yeah.
I could tell you why it wouldn't work, but I'll save it until opinion time.
Okay.
I know why it wouldn't work.
Put your opinion back in your opinion holster.
My opinion back.
You shrink that opinion down and keep it for later.
That's right. Well, that's going to take us to ad numero dos.
This episode of It's a Conspiracy is brought to you by Taproot Edmonton presents Igniting Innovation, a new podcast series on the evolution of a tech startup scene. Here's more.
We got entrepreneurs here that are dreamers. They see the world and they say, we can make it better. And all of us in the audience here, we can help them make that better world.
We're now consistently generating over 100K per month.
Now we want to take this platform and make it go truly global.
This is the story of Edmonton's tech innovation sector. I'm Emily Rendell-Watson, and I'm the host of the newest podcast from Taproot Edmonton presents Igniting Innovation. This 6-episode series will explore how startups and investors are coming together to build what's next. We'll hear the stories of entrepreneurs, new and experienced tech investors, and those who are working to build the sector.
I wanted to build closer bonds with entrepreneurs and members of the innovation community.
You'll be able to check out new episodes weekly from Edmonton Startup Week through to the Startup TNT Investment Summit. Listen at presents.taprootedmonton.ca or wherever you get your podcasts.
Once again, subscribe today at presents.taprootedmonton.ca.
Okay, so subject number 3. Why is Pluto a planet? But it isn't. Spoiler, it kind of still is. Okay, now you guys, there's a restaurant on the moon. The food is good, but there's really no atmosphere.
Hey.
I know. Pluto, which is fun to say and earns you bonus points as being named after the god of the dead, aka Hades, lost its planetary status to great public outrage on August 24th, 2006, which was shortly after Greg's 4th birthday.
Was I born like February 29th or something?
February 29th, 2002. The rationale is simple. Researchers at the International Astronomical Union reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet rather than a planet. And this status was seen as a demotion in the public sphere of Pluto love, which didn't seem to exist until this came up. And this is just an example of PC culture ruining everything, right? Hey, come on.
Are you sure we're not just talking about the Eddie Murphy movie, The Adventures of Pluto Nash? Like, this story follows the exact...
Man, have you seen that movie?
That's so good.
What a gong show. Oh. So science teachers collectively pushed up their glasses and said, actually, there are now 8 planets in our solar system instead of 9. So the 5 planets are Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These are all visible in the night sky. You can see them glimmering up in the stars without the assistance of witchcraft, by which I mean telescopes. So when the witchcraft telescopes were employed, people were happy to take a good long look at Neptune. And then, of course, they were happy to take a good long look at Uranus.
There it is.
There we go. With the telescope. Years later, 1930, Clyde Tombaugh, which is a great name,
good name,
discovered a wandering dot that was not orbiting in a circle. I didn't realize this is where the word eccentric comes from. So eccentric means something that is orbiting but is not in a circle. It's orbiting in like a, I don't know,
wobbly.
A dodecahedron. Like it's orbiting in a trapezoid.
An elliptical?
An elliptical, yeah. I think that is the right term. I think you're right. An elliptical orbit.
Sounds good to me.
We'll say that's right. We're not going to look it up. How could we look it up?
Not possible.
We don't do that here. Come on now.
No, we don't look things up. No, absolutely not. And so Pluto was born when they spotted it up in the elliptical eccentric orbit. Of course, Pluto at this point was billions of years old, but we didn't know about it before, so it didn't exist. That's how this works. Okay. Fast forward to 2005, frosted tips. Okay. And those douchebag seashell necklaces ruled
those
the
are
landscape.
Puka shells.
Do you remember those? Yeah, Charlie's got one on right now.
Hey, we always wear puka shell necklaces in the Arctic base.
Are you wearing cargo pants as well?
What else could you wear? Where am I going to keep all the rest of my extra puka shells?
So in 2005, the body of Eris was found. And this body, in quotations, was considered too small because it's probably just a big cluster of ice. And so the concept of a planet was challenged. At first, the only thing they meant to do with this, before they opened a can, they didn't mean to open a can, but at first they're like, okay, Eris is not a planet. Eris is just a big chunk of ice spinning through space. Then some celestial Karen decided that Pluto should lose its status too. After all, if we're not going to label icy objects as planets, then why should Pluto be special? And what do you mean this coffee is hot? How am I supposed to drink it? So the toothpaste couldn't be put back in the tube. And in the great legacy of cancel culture, it was decided to revoke Pluto's planetary status by the what are they called? The International Astronomy Union. Yeah, I always get astronomy and astrology mixed up, which drives legitimate scientists crazy. Yeah. I'll be like, "You astrologists, it's so interesting how you study the stars." They're like,
"Not my sign, bro. Not my sign."
Yeah. So astrophysicist. What an amazing title. Like, you're like, "Hi, I'm an astrophysicist." It's like, okay, like, you're clearly a superhero. Like, you just flew in on boots that have rockets. Ethan Siegel has gone public saying, "The simple fact is that Pluto was misclassified when it was discovered." Oh. The simple fact is that Pluto was misclassified when it was first discovered. It was never on the same footing as the other 8 worlds. So they're talking about how Pluto's planetary status, they're like, revoked, you're fired, you're a dwarf planet.
You're out of the Justice League. Aquaman, you're not a real
planet. Debate continues to rage to this day. And in 2015, the AIU representative Mike Brown, another planetary scientist, released a public statement saying, "So hey, Pluto is still not a planet, actually never was. We just misunderstood it for 50 years. Now we know better. Nostalgia for Pluto is really not a very good planet argument. But that's basically all there is. Now let's get on with reality."
Please stop emailing me.
I love this. I looked up this quote, and Brown's Twitter handle is @PlutoKiller. How great is that? That's his thing. Oh,
I'm the man that single-handedly brought down Pluto.
That's a pretty amazing claim, though.
Oh, totally. Brought down a planet. So it looks like the Pluto party is canceled, and if there is a Pluto party, we will have to plan it.
Hey. This is another segment where you work backwards from a joke, isn't it?
I have to come up with a segment to fit that joke. Well, that's going to take us to the opinions time.
Opinions.
Opinion time. Hey, everybody, it's opinion time.
So, Charlie, what was our first theory? Do you recall?
North Korea?
North Korea and the North Koreanicorns.
North Korea is?
Yes, sir.
Wasn't that how you started everything?
A peninsula in Asia. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Andrew, what was Greg's theory? It was, now I threw myself off. It was, is Thanus a thing? And, well, I'll hold off my opinion on that because I have a little thought on that as well. And Greg, what was our third subject here?
Pluto. Is it a planet or still a planet?
Yeah. Is Pluto the name of Mickey Mouse's dog?
I thought it was Goofy's dog.
No, it's Mickey's
Goofy.
Dog. Goofy would
Mickey,
have a dog.
Yeah.
A dog can't own a dog.
Yeah, he does.
A dog can't own a dog. But why can Goofy talk and like wear clothes and Pluto's like, he can't do any of those things?
Different breeds.
He's a dog.
Because he's a dog. They're both dogs, man.
The Goofy is not a dog. He's just goofy.
He's not a dog?
He's goofy looking.
He's a dog.
I think he's a dog. Yeah, anyways, I always felt kind of bad for...
I think this is an issue for another episode.
This is...
All I remember is from the Goof Troop is that Goofy had a dog and it was Pluto.
So Pluto belongs to Goofy, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
And yeah, and Mickey and Minnie, now that I think about it, they're gigantic mice. Like if they're the same size as even just Donald, like they're rats. They're not mice. Like they're huge. They're gonna nibble your bum. Okay, so Greg, what do you think about what do you think about Pluto?
What do I think about Pluto?
Yeah.
We were talking about the planet, not the dog anymore. Gotcha.
Talking about the planet. back on subject.
Well, because me and Charlie were talking about it earlier before you popped up. That I've been reading the Expanse novels, and they talk about Pluto because they can travel out to that end of the galaxies and star systems. But I don't know, man. It's if it's tiny, like have you seen like the comparisons of Earth to Pluto and Eros and places like that? Like it's
real small.
It's smaller than the moon.
Yeah, totally. But it does have its own little moon. Like it's
true,
you know.
But you would have to consider the moon a planet.
I guess so. It's weird that they're like it's a dwarf planet, and I'm like, so it's still a planet? They're like technically, but they insist on that prefix, like you're a planet, but you're a dwarf planet, which is like, is it still a planet? It is. It's just a planet. It's not a planet anymore. It's a dwarf planet now.
Damn it, planet.
Dwarf planet.
So Charlie, do you have any thoughts on Plutonians? Or
yeah, I never do another deal with Plutonians, but would think that going forward, I mean, just give it an honorable mention, you know?
Totally.
It was one of the OG, right?
Yeah.
You know, I look, the last thing I want to see is another set of Pluto riots.
Dude, people get like really up in arms about this. Like,
those. When they just destroy so much property, just give it some special status. You know, just let it be an OG planet. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, totally. Just a bit of respect.
Yeah.
What about the flat Plutonians?
Oh, is Pluto actually flat?
That's a whole different episode. Too.
Flatto. Yeah, no, that would be, yeah. I feel the same way. I think this is a ridiculous thing for people to argue about. Like if scientists are like, well, it's really too small to fit the category of being a planet, so we'll call it a dwarf planet. Because it's still a planet. They're just saying it's a dwarf planet instead of a planet.
But did they do that just to placate people because they were afraid they were going to tear a regular sized planet apart?
Well, I think you're right, because people didn't care at all until it lost its status, and then it was a problem. And it's like, of all the things for us to argue about, like, you know, yeah.
They didn't have to care because it wasn't being misrepresented.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. All right. Well, Charlie, what do you think about Thanus?
Thanos? Okay. Here is why there's absolutely no way that this theory would have worked.
I can't wait to hear this.
Okay, I'm excited.
Thanos, 100% a clencher. He's not given any room in there for Ant-Man to slip on up. You know?
Well, that was one of the quotes by the creator of Thanos. I keep wanting to say Thanos.
Let's say Thanos.
He's a straight clencher, and if he's not clenching, he's got armor that would cover the proper holes.
Yeah. A little extra armor down there, I'd say.
Yeah. Under armor, if you will.
I can't help but point out that like he's not a human being, so his exhaust portal might not be in the same place.
You don't
like
think he's got
to
do space shits?
Well, he probably does, but that doesn't mean it's in the same place that our anus would be. Like he could have his eyeballs could be his anus. Like he's an alien. Nobody knows where it is. You know, and then they're always quick to point out like, oh, Spock has 3 hearts and his organs are all scrambled up inside. So Thanos may or may not have an anus. What an odd thing to say. Like, anyways,
may or may not have an anus. I guess.
He manus or may nanus. I don't know.
I'd really like this to be true because when I first heard it, I just kind of imagined Ant-Man growing to the perfect size where all of a sudden he's wearing the Infinity Gauntlet.
But what if he accidentally goes too far and it goes Giant Man?
Yeah, it's the Infinity Gauntlet. I thought it could just grow to whatever. Yeah.
That's true.
It fits to your hand. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it sure
does. But anyway,
does.
like I digress. It's just a really funny,
really
funny fact.
Oh yeah.
But I thought, it just brings some chuckles to the face and whatnot. So
love it.
Oh, to our dreary lives. That is really funny. Yeah.
But this does put a smile on my face.
Okay, well, so for North Korea, I think North Korea has a lot of issues. Like, I wish them all the best. I want their people to have a happy life, but I think their leaders maybe have got other agendas going on. And I think the thought of someone having like $1,000 a year while the leader is like spending like over $1 million on cognac, I'm like, I hate all of that. Like, I'm like, that's horrible, you know. And so, and Grant, like I put the sources for that article, like where I got that information, true or not, like anyone that would do that to their people is horrible. So not just on North Korea, but if I found out someone in Canada was doing that, I'd be like, man, we gotta vote that guy out of here. Like, that's terrible.
Stop doing that. Damn.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, that's terrible.
Nope.
And the haircut, it just looks like Nick Carter, and I'm like, get that out of here.
My opinion that to make sure that it is what it is, Andrew should get that haircut.
Oh man.
Speaking
of the Avengers Endgame, I would rather have that haircut that Hawkeye had, like that horrible, weird, like he's got a sword now, so he has to have a real bad haircut. I'd rather have that haircut. It was so weird. What were they thinking? Jeremy Renner is a handsome man. It's like, why would you put... Anyways, so I would rather have the Hawkeye haircut than the Kim Jong-Un haircut, personally.
But wait, okay, but like, what was the name of the haircut again?
The Ambitious.
The Ambitious. I mean...
Yeah.
If anyone here is ambitious, it's you.
Well,
do it.
All right, I should.
That's what you'll be getting with that haircut.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. So what do you guys think about North Korea though? Like, do you think it's going to be? Are they all right, or what's?
I'll let you go first, there, Charles.
I think that's a tough situation, man. I don't know. They're not, I mean, apparently they've got a really strong opera scene, from what I hear. So at least there's some culture there. But
oh man.
Otherwise, I don't really know what to say about that.
Yeah.
Over to you,
stuff in there.
Yeah, thanks. I thought you were gonna have something more to say because, I was like, ooh. This goes back to there's those people that do those documentaries. It's like, oh, I got into North Korea and did those tours. I think that would be an interesting experience. But who's to know if they're actually in North Korea or not? But as you were saying, on a scale of how bad can a place be, this probably, I don't know, may not be the worst place on earth. The people are poor and probably hungry, and they have a dictator who is selfish and does, as far as we know from Western culture, that does nothing to help a society. They're not a war-torn country. It's hard for us to, I'd say it's hard for us to put it on a scale or should be able to say how bad it actually is. We have no idea.
Yeah, people. That's right. That's a very good point because we don't even know what's going on, the reality of their daily lives. People don't know. People don't even know the population of the country.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And they're the enemy, but yeah.
Yeah, we're the best guess you said was the largest city in Canada is slightly smaller. That's just the best guess,
Yeah.
I'm not one to hold judgment just because you just have no idea. It's basically just what we're being shown on the news, and I'm not saying fake news or anything like that, but I'm sure there's a part of it that we just don't understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there too. I know when I was in Japan, I don't mean to work that into every conversation, I promise. But at one point, North Korea
doing it's a conspiracy bingo. One,
I know. There he did. He mentioned
That's
it.
That's a full card.
But at the time when I was there, North Korea launched a ballistic missile from North Korea over Japan, and it landed in the sea on the other side of the country. And the Canadian embassy was like, "You need to have a 24-hour evacuation kit ready to go just in case war breaks out." And I was like, oh. And that's all they did. They shot a missile and they were like, oh, we didn't mean to shoot it over the country. And it's
whoops.
The country that you're threatening all the time. Can you imagine if someone did that to the States? They just launched a ballistic missile over the country and they were like, sorry about that. We were just
we're just trying to make sure you knew that we got this thing, not using it on the show.
Totally. Just showing you.
Geopolitical. I'm more talking about everyday life kind of.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Because they're separate issues, right? Aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, daily life isn't commanding ballistic missiles. That's
and then that's what you see is just the war and terror. And I'm not saying that's all we see, but for a majority of it's someone got poisoned and is dead. Someone was missile was shot over the country. Also, I'm very curious. Did you see it?
Did you see the missile?
Oh, they have footage of the missile landing in the ocean.
Did you see it when you were
I didn't see the missile. No.
Did you hear it?
No, I didn't even hear it.
If I'm right, it sounded like. That would be my guess. That's what it sounded like.
So I didn't see or hear anything, but I think it was in the middle of the night, and I woke up to that email, and I believe it went over in the night, but I don't know. But they had NHK or the kind of the CBC version that we have, the Canadian Broadcasting Company. NHK are in Japan, and they had footage of this thing being launched and then flying over the country and then landing in the ocean on the other side.
Wow.
So it was a legit threat. People were like, okay, is it World War III time? And Japan aren't really allowed to retaliate because of all kinds of things with the Second World War. And they were like, can we still defend ourselves? Or it was a very interesting sort of political debate because for someone who's only allowed to defend themselves, they have an enormous military complex. From the outside, a cynical person might say, that's a lot of stuff for self-defense, right?
That's a lot of missiles.
That's a lot of missiles for someone who just wants to defend themselves. Yeah, so.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, it's a spicy conversation.
It is. Yeah, we should talk about North Korea because there's a couple. There's the rumor that uncles have been poisoned and stuff like that. And we didn't even talk about the grandfather, who's Kim Jong-il's dad, Kim Jong-sun or Sung. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, the oldest one is like the real fascinating part. Well, set the oven to 425 and let my briskets crapple up. Golden and delicious. Like, did I say crapple or crackle?
Yeah, you did. You're still talking.
I think I said.
You're still thinking Thanus.
I'm still thinking Thanus. I could go the rest of my life without hearing that word. That is disgusting. We sure do appreciate you stopping by for a listen. Please feel free to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your neighbor, tell your foes. Spread the good word like an unpopular opinion about something on the internet, like Pluto. You can check out all of our past casts and social media stuff at itsaconspiracypodcast.com. And we will be back with episode 7 later this month. Thanks for listening and take care. Bye.
And we're clear.